Hi, welcome back to my channel. So glad you're here. I wanted to talk today about abuse and how intentional it is. So just remember, abuse is intentional because abusers will apologize repeatedly, especially in the beginning. They come to a point where they stop apologizing, but in the beginning, they apologize a lot because they want to continue to abuse you. So the only way they continue to abuse you because it's intentional is if they apologize, because in the beginning, might not want to be around somebody who's abusive. So in the beginning, they'll abuse you and then they'll play nice for a bit so that they can abuse you again, play nice for a bit, till eventually down the road they don't play nice anymore. And it's constant abuse, but it might be a little bit more subtle because they'll do it so much. It won't be as sporadic. It'll be continuous, but they'll find different forms of abuse. Like when they're in front of people, the abuse will be really subtle to the point where other people will question if something really happened so that they can get you to respond because you know it's abuse and you've already been abused throughout the afternoon or the day that you might respond in a rough way that makes it seem like you're so they'll continually pick at you, pick at you until they get a reaction that causes other people to look at you. They'll specifically do it so that you're in front of somebody else when you react, so they can make it look like you're the abuser. So how they do it is it's intentional so that they can make it look like you're the abuser or you're the problem or the other people should feel like they're the victim because they have to deal with someone like you who behaves the way that you do. So for instance, they'll start some kind of an argument in the morning. You might have asked them a question, just a normal question, like, how's the day gonna go? Like, what are our plans for today? And they'll seem annoyed and they don't want to answer your question. So they'll say, oh, why do you always want to ask me what's going on? You know, I have things that I do. You know what I do. Stop asking stupid questions. Like they'll start off like something like that. And then, so you might not really want to talk to them because you're like, okay, this person is being really rude. So then, like, their coworker comes over or whatever to come get them, pick them up or whatever, and they come in and you're like, good morning, whatever. You say hello to them or whatever. But they notice that you're not really responding to the abuser because they've already pretty much made it where they don't want to talk to you. And if you talk to them, they're going to attack you in some manner. So then they'll say something to you like, oh, you know, they're always trying to figure out what we're going on. Why don't you tell them what we're doing? They're bothering me about, well, where we're actually going or what we have planned for the day. They always want to know my business. So now this other coworker thinks that you're really rude and you're prying into this person's business. So they just start to build up some kind of a case against you to make it look like you're some kind of an abuser or something because you asked a simple question that morning. So it goes like that. And so it's intentional so that they can look like somebody who needs this person's help or uh needs them to be on their side to defend them against this abuse or maybe take them in or help them, save them and the children from this horrible abuser. So the reason why they abuse you is because they have some intention behind it. And it might not be that they want to make you look like an abuser as well, but that's pretty much how it works because they're trying to hide the fact that they're abusive. So if they can hide the fact that they're abusive behind the fact that you're the abuser, that's a really easy way to do it. And so while they're manipulating you into looking like an abuser, they're actually manipulating the people who they're trying to make it look like you're an abuser in front of too, because that's what they do. So abusers are manipulating the situation because they want to continue to abuse. They want to have free reign to abuse. They don't want to, they operate in every aspect around abuse. So it's intentional because they get what they want from it, whatever it is that they want. So by abusing you, they get to neglect you and get away with it because at this point you're pulling away from them and you're like, I don't want to be around a person who abuses me, so I'm going to stay away from them. So they get to neglect the responsibility they have to your relationship while you're stuck in this relationship, which they hope to do. Abusers want to keep you stuck. So they want to keep you stuck in whatever situation you're in. because that way they can continue to abuse you. So it's a cycle that way. So if they can get you into an abusive relationship by pretending that they're sorry over and over again to the point where you actually feel bad for somebody who can't seem to get it together, so that you think you can help them get it together by accepting some of their abuse to show them the proper way to be non-abusive. And so now you're stuck in the cycle of being abused to show them how to be non-abusive, and then they are pulling you into this cycle where they can continue to abuse you and get away with it without repenting on it, acknowledging it, or changing it. And because they feel like they have the right to abuse you, they're not going to actually take your help when you're trying to help them out of being abusive and show them non-abusive patterns. Because at this point, they're like, well, you're you're doing exactly what I want you to do by believing that you can help me stop this abusive cycle. So you're in the cycle of trying to help them, and they're in the cycle of letting you think that you're helping them so that they can continue to abuse you. So they can use this pattern that you're being abused in, and you're allowing them to abuse them as a way to make it look like you're the abuser. So that's how they work that out. And it could be intentional because they actually just want to use you for whatever it is that you have they want. Outside of the fact that they get to make you look like an abuser, they might want to use something that you have, your money, your abilities, your qualities of being non-abusive, because that'll cover up the fact that they're abusive. Like if you're really putting yourself out there and, showing the rest of the family how to live a, kind, lighthearted existence on the outside of it, so they can see the difference like what a non-abusive person looks like. That's actually a benefit to them because you're going out into society as a non-abusive person, hiding their abusive tactics because people don't believe that. Why would someone who is non-abusive want to be around somebody who's abusive? They don't understand that you actually think you're helping this abuser because this abuser had given you some kind of victimized story that their parents abused them. So you think, oh, well, they really need some help because they don't know any other way. And so you want to end the cycle of abuse at the same time, save a poor abused person. In actuality, they're just using this law to condition other people to allow them to continue their abusive behavior. And that's what they're doing. And like, so there's an intent behind it. The intent is so that they can carry on as being abusive because they get what they want, and it could be something else that the person they're abusing offers, like their home, their property, their money, their status, whatever it is the abuser wants. They don't feel like they can keep somebody being honest and caring and kind like those people are, so they use abuse to keep people where they want them. And so it's manipulation or it's an abuse cycle, which is both really. When you're being manipulated, you're right to be abused. And they're taking your ability to process information correctly and turning it into a manipulation tactic so that you can't really process what's going on, so that you can be in confusion. Like I told you before, as long as they can keep you confused, you'll continue to be manipulated. So we need to get clarity with this and understand first that abuse is intentional and there's a reason for it. So if you're being abused, you should really look into why you're being abused. What are you being abused for? Because there's something that you have that they want. And so they're abusing you so they continue to get that thing from you. Okay. Thank you. Have a great day.